Gears 5 is the newest entry in the Gears of War franchise, one of my favorite franchises since I was a kid. This game changes things quite a bit with the campaign and the multiplayer. So yeah, I think I thought it was great the way they changed it because it feels like a Gears of War game, but it also has some elements that I honestly didn't expect at all. Starting with the story and also like the kind of like the world they put you in this game. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk a little bit about the story and how it continues like all the lore from the previous Gears of War games and several very interesting directions. And I know this. I've talked with a couple people that think this is a controversial game. That it's a kind of like it takes so many risks. And honestly, I thought they worked. I think Gears 5 takes the game in unexpected directions, but also it leaves a lot to discuss about the story and the gameplay and the characters and like all these things they're doing with them. So I'm gonna go and talk a little bit about it right now. So the first thing I noticed about Gears 5 is the complete upgrade in the graphics and writing and basically the characters and the way they interact with each other. It feels more cinematic. The cutscenes feel much more real and emotional, especially the flashbacks. So honestly, I thought like the previous Gears of War games, especially the original trilogy, like as great as it was, it had some really cheesy moments and some like weird kind of like motion cap acting. But this game, it actually feels like much more real, and that is something I appreciated. Like the complete graphics upgrade that we get to see in Gears 5. Um, well, the story basically continues from the Gears of War 4, so a little bit of light spoilers. So at the end of Gears 4, you kind of discover that Kate has like Locust ancestry, like with the what's it called? Like the pendant she receives from her mother has like the Locust symbol on it, and that's kind of like leaves a cliffhanger at the end of Gears 4. But in this game, it explores a lot in the about her origins and the origins of the Locust, especially during the second act, like the snow part where it's a little bit of open world on it. So this is something that I thought was interesting. I thought it was going to be like super tedious to get through the open world parts, but honestly, at the end, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good thing to do. So like different from the other Gears of War games, this game has four acts instead of five, but it changes it for the open world elements that allow you a little bit more to explore and kind of just take things at your own pace. And I thought it was good. I thought it was a good change of pace for this game. And well, anyways, like with the story, she discovers some really interesting stuff. And I thought the second act was great. I thought it was like it revealed a lot of stuff about how like Queen Mira came to power, like why is a human the leader of the Locust in the first trilogy of the Gears of War games. And another thing that I really enjoyed was that the like the other characters, kind of like Marcus's son, JD, and like the rest of the gang, kind of were featured in the game, but it wasn't very central towards them. Um, but also like it kind of like pays homage to the old characters, especially Baird. Like Baird is featured heavily in this game, and that is something I really enjoyed too. The final act of the game is basically a battle that shows you like how evil the new enemies, the Swarm, are, because they basically destroy one of the big cities in the Gears of War franchise. And you know, the final act was, I thought it was really good, especially but except towards the end. Like they made you choose between saving either one of two characters, and I thought that decision was pretty unnecessary. But I'm also curious to see how it shapes the next game, which is going to be Gears of War 6. And yeah, basically, I think it's going to have an effect, kind of like in the Wolfenstein games, where you have to choose also between saving either one of two characters. And but basically, I thought the game was really well made. The multiplayer has its faults. Like honestly, I prefer like the Gears of War 3 has the best multiplayer out of the whole franchise, and I play that way more than the 4 or 5, which I think is a big downgrade. But anyways. I think the game is good. I think the story is getting really interesting. I think this game has like the best story of the whole franchise. And although it's different, I really appreciate what the Coalition is doing with this game. And I can't wait to see how the story concludes in the last chapter of this trilogy. So, anyways, I'm gonna give Gears 5 as a final score an 85 out of 100. I think it's great. I think it's a great game, and it's one of the best Xbox exclusives in my opinion. But anyways, that's all for today. I think you guys should play this game. I think it's really good, and that's all for today. See ya.